Welcome to 9 to 5 on the Side, the podcast for visionaries who work full-time but carry full-time dreams. I'm your host, Takinya Janae, award-winning entrepreneur, creative strategist, art therapist, believer, and someone who knows what it feels like to have a calling that won't let you sleep. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. There are seasons where progress is slow and it seems like there is no movement happening. It looks like waiting and preparation and quiet endurance. In today's episode, we're talking about progress you can't see. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. There are seasons in business and life where progress doesn't look like momentum. It doesn't look like growth. It doesn't look like success. Sometimes it looks like stillness, repetition, and even delay. We're talking about it today. In 9 to 5 on the Side, I talk about delayed gratification. What I'm really talking about here is the waiting season. Because often when we imagine progress, we imagine movement that is visible. Everybody can see it. We imagine expansion. We imagine measure and outcomes that we can post about online and milestones that feel impressive. But the truth is, progress does not always announce itself. Sometimes progress looks like patience or discipline or emotional maturity. Or sometimes progress looks like restraint and preparation that no one else can see. Sometimes this progress is happening. The discipline, the emotional maturity, and the restraint is the preparation for the things that we can eventually see. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. We tend to hold a big, beautiful vision, and that vision is all-encompassing. It requires many things to come together. It requires mental and emotional growth. It requires financial development and wisdom, discernment, and relationships, the right timing and the right insight. That kind of vision can't be fulfilled all at once. I think that's the thing that we miss sometimes. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. The fulfillment of the vision takes many steps before it can be fully revealed. And here's where many people get discouraged. We keep our eyes locked in on the grand vision, and in doing so, we overlook the small accomplishments, not because they're insignificant, but because they don't match the scale of what we're aiming for. We have big visions, we have big goals. And when we overlook the small steps, we start to believe that nothing is happening. And that's a dangerous belief. Because when it feels like nothing's happening, we stop too soon. I've seen it many times. We stop too soon because the small steps that we have taken, the maturity that it took, the connections that we were making were a part of the process, but we didn't realize it, and we stopped too soon. We abandoned the process. We moved on to a new idea, a new vision, a new goal. And what we didn't realize is that very step, the step that we walked away from, was where the critical outcomes that we said we wanted, they were right on the other side. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. Another layer to this is what happens after we achieve something. Often, once a goal is accomplished, it doesn't feel as grand as we imagined when we were looking towards it. And because a new vision is already forming, we forget to acknowledge what we just accomplished. We moved on without giving that accomplishment the proper gratitude that it deserved, without sitting with it and reflecting, without honoring the endurance that it required. And that's why I want to encourage you today to enjoy the little things, to acknowledge every step in your process. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. One of the tools I use personally and professionally is visualization. I invite people to create a timeline. What did I do this month? What did I do this year? What did I do last year? What skills have I developed? And what decisions did I make differently than I had before? What did I learn? What did I sustain? All of these different questions that I just asked are a part of the learning process, the maturing process that help you to achieve the goal that you recently accomplished or the goals that you are attempting to accomplish right now. And so when you map it out, you can see the progress that didn't feel like momentum in the moment, but it was progress nonetheless. Let me share a personal example. So I've performed on large stages, but that didn't happen suddenly. At 5 years old, I performed at my first play, Annie. And then in third grade, I played a lead role in another production. I took voice lessons and piano lessons and traveled far from home, spending time away from friends. And at that time, it felt like a sacrifice. And I would have rather been socializing than sitting with an instructor, learning techniques and discipline. But I needed that. And then in high school, I was part of an award-winning show choir. And that opportunity required the skills and the consistency that I already developed long before I arrived there. Now, this is just a practical example of the steps that it took for me to get to that place at that time. Each step mattered, though. That's the point. Each step mattered. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. Each step mattered in the small things that we might have accomplished when we were young and the small things that we accomplish today as we pursue our goals. Each step prepares us. Each step prepared me during that time. And then there was a moment along the journey when I wanted to give up. There actually was a moment when I actually did. I gave up. I later realized that it was a pivotal season that I could have that could have been growth for me. Later I realized how pivotal that season could have been for my growth. I could clearly see how beneficial it would have been if I had have endured just a little bit longer. And that is why consistency matters, especially when things get hard. Sometimes the things that we attempt to do or to quit is the very thing that's shaping us for what's coming next. There's a scripture that speaks about endurance and long suffering. And the essence of it is this: on the other side of endurance is the promise. Not more endurance, promise. But many people stop during the endurance stage just because it doesn't look like motion. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. We stop because we're watching the outside world. Instead of tracking our own internal and incremental growth, we compare. We listen to the noise. We measure ourselves against the timelines that are not ours. So here's my encouragement to you today. Stay focused on your own work. Mark your progress. Acknowledge your achievements, even the quiet ones. Block out all the visual noise and the auditory noise of what other people are saying and doing, because your goal is your goal. Your mission is your mission, and your process matters. Progress doesn't always look like momentum. Sometimes it looks like preparation, and preparation is never wasted. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. One more suggestion I have for you. While you're on your journey to accomplishing your goals and acknowledging the little steps that you're taking, choose an accountability partner. someone that can help you see the little things that you've done consistently as you achieve those goals that you're reaching for. Yeah, it might feel quiet now, but it doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something important is forming. So go ahead. Do it for you. Endure for you. Like and subscribe to all of our channels at thoughtful_endeavors. Thank you for listening to 9 to 5 on the side. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who's building their dream right alongside their responsibilities. Don't forget to grab a copy of the book, the workbook, or the audiobook, and join me for one of our live trainings where we turn ideas into action. Connect with me on Instagram at Thoughtful Endeavors and on LinkedIn under Takenya Janae for daily strategies, encouragement, and purpose-driven insight. Until next time, stay grounded, stay encouraged, stay faithful to the work you're called to build, and most importantly, do it for you.